Okay, let's pick up with a little mini test from here. So, a thing that I've been wanting to play with a little bit is to see what happens with duplicate teams. I haven't messed as much with duplicate teams as I have wanted to. Um, so, I want to know more. I want to know more. So, we've got a basic tournament structure where the teams in Tournament 1 qualify, the winner of Tournament 1 qualifies for Tournament 2, and they play Algeria. So, three teams currently are in this competition. I'm just curious if I go in here and I change this from get random national team instead to get specific national team, and I just leave it as Algeria and I duplicate it, what happens? I haven't messed with this. So at this point, we'd have three instances of Algeria. And what it says is in Tournament 1, it can't find enough teams to be created. It only found one team and it needs two. Interesting. So I can't pick Algeria twice. It is looking out for that. I wonder, too, if I did something like. Um, hmm. Get random national team. You can get best national teams from a region. That's probably going to pick Morocco. Let's just test. So interesting. That's happening. So new stage 0 for tournament 0 can't find enough teams because Algeria ends up playing Algeria. So I think it tested it and it found that Algeria might end up having to play itself. So fascinating. Um, just because Algeria is in this competition, it already knows that that might cause a problem later, which is fascinating. What happens if I remove Algeria and I say, give me two teams from North Africa? Cool. So that worked. And I think that worked because, and we'll just go test it really fast. I think what's happening is it is watching for duplicates. And in so doing, it knows not to pick Algeria for this competition. So I bet you anything when we get to tournament 1 and we look at which teams it ends up selecting, Algeria will not be one of them. I think it's that intuitive, which is one of the things that I want to say. As much flack as the coding team has gotten for FM26, this is pretty impressive. The fact that they look out for this sort of thing, and there's a number of places where I've seen them kind of intuitively watching out for conflicts and things like this. I'll tell you, I've done a lot of like EAFC and FIFA editing in my day. They're not watching out for this stuff. You could easily get multiple duplicate teams in a competition back in the day, or the whole thing would just crash. Whereas they've sort of thought about it and looked through it and have these tests kind of built in to make sure that it works before you get to that stage. It's just good design. It's good sort of, you have to kind of build these systems so that they work for the dumbest user, which is me after 15 hours of editing or something like that. And they've done that where you can make a mistake and it'll figure it out in a lot of circumstances. You can tell it like a thereabouts solution and it'll figure it out a lot of the time. Not always, but the more you know about what it's trying to do, the more that those little things that the coding team have done to make sure that this runs smoothly, the more they work out. And I'm speaking with a lot of confidence here that this is how it's going to work, but I'm pretty confident that's how this is going to work. Small database, load, load, load. I literally just finished watching Germany get knocked out of the 2026 World Cup. I that's what an incredible result. What did we just witness? Wow. Um, Unbelievable. And what happens to Nagelsmann, who I think has generally been like respected and done well, but I mean, a round of 32 exit. How do you survive that as Nagelsmann? Really? Wow. I'm stunned. I'm truly stunned and elated. All right, tournament 1, not going to be Algeria. Whoa! Look. Okay, so it's going to play this on the 15th of May. I want to. We're going to save scum this so that we can test what happens if Algeria wins this game. Man, all that hype I gave the coding team, and they don't have this. Okay, so let's save scum this. So save game as. We're going to save it as I want Algeria to win. Which is true. They're a respectable national team. Although that whole thing with Lumumba Vea, the statue guy, that was a little bit. That wasn't the best. Okay, let's see who wins this competition. I might have to do this a couple times. Morocco's a good squad. They drew. I saw that in the previews. So, yeah, Morocco won on penalties. Let's load it back up. Test it again. I want Algeria. I think this is a little further along. Algeria won. Okay. Let's see what happened. This is what I wanted to test. So Algeria won, and the next competition is going to draw around the 18th, I think. So we'll check that on the 18th. They pulled France. Where did it get France? Just went and got the best national team. Interesting. Okay, so here's the next test, right? Well, let's double check this. Hold on. We're making assumptions. So it went and just found the best national team, even though that is not one of my instructions. Last year, Tournament 0 was Morocco, Algeria. Yeah, because at this point, it can't be France. I've got it locked into. Yep, so it just goes and finds the best national team. So it's going to fill the tournament with somebody. If it can't, okay, beautiful. So that's really interesting. What we've confirmed is you cannot have duplicates. It will not let you. That is good coding on the part of the coding team. What it will do is ensure that the spot is filled by making sure that a national team is picked. And so it's got a built-in rule somewhere that says if you can't find anybody, go get France or go get the best national team, probably by world rankings at the time. I want to see if we can fail-safe this / maybe prioritize it. So here's my test. What we're going to do for duplicate management, go back to the editor. We're going to go to tournament 0, and we're going to say that first, I want you to grab Algeria. Second, I really want you to get the tournament 1 winner. But if you can't, here's what I think I'm saying. If you can't, then I want you to get... Okay, Google, name a random small country somewhere on the planet. Okay. If that doesn't work, go get Tuvalu. Tuvalu. Generally, how that's pronounced. Tuvalu. Sorry for the long load screen. I'm just still in shock about Germany. Oh my God, I can't believe that. So we lost Uruguay, we lost Germany so far. Of the big guns, we still have England, France, at least at the time of watching. We still got England, France, Brazil, I guess, if they're a big gun. Italy's gone. Spain, Portugal, if you count them. Netherlands, maybe. I mean, I can't imagine somebody like France mind seeing Germany get bumped from their bracket. Morocco's over there, though. They might have run before. It's really quite incredible. I'm obviously like particularly excited because people were harshing on the Americans' result against Paraguay. They're a bad team. We could score on them 4 times. What's your problem, Germany? Come on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable result. All right, let's load it in. So, as a reminder going into this test, the first game is going to be 2 North African teams. If one of them is Algeria, I want to try to get them to win to see if it then selects Tuvalu or if it ends up picking France. I think it's going to pick Tuvalu. That's my hypothesis. So let's get to May of, I think it was May 4th, May 5th, something like that. Which, I'm just checking something. When do I have that first match scheduled for Tournament 1? Oh, I know why. I might play with that in a minute and see if I can get this a little bit closer to the load in date so we don't have to sim so much. Oh, I went past. Whoops, whoops, whoops. I went past the 5th. I might have to do this again. Go back to Tournament 1. Morocco won on penalty. Nah, this isn't. I mean, this isn't even a valid load. Um, quit to the start screen. Go back. Quit to the start screen. No. We should draw this stage, Tournament 1. We should draw that right after I load in. So I'm loading in on the 6th. We should draw it on the 7th of April. Which right now, I guess we're drawing it on the 9th. But what's interesting is I think it's already set up when we load in. Let's check. Well, I've been skipping the first couple of days, so that might be why. To try to avoid the autosave. But here, if we save this, that's on the 6th. What just happened? I wasn't watching. I think it just crashed back to the main screen. Checking. Start unemployed. Team manager profile. Torian Moon Sammy. Begin the career. Save. Confirm. Yes, I want to replace. Beautiful. Okay, so we're on the 6th, so it should not be set up yet. Tournament 1, not set up yet. It will draw it on the 9th. So, yeah, and we just saved. So I should be able to save scum that if I don't get the draw that I want. So let's take a look. Tournament 1. Tournament 1. We got Egypt, Morocco. I don't want that. So let's load the game. I don't want to save April 13th, April 6th. Okay. Ah, shoot. I skipped it. That was an accident. I got Egypt, Morocco again. Let me fix something, because I think we can... I have an idea, and I can introduce a concept. So, oh shoot, I've been making you watch the editor the whole time. I'm sorry, viewer. So essentially it keeps, as I'm loading into the game, it keeps trying to get Egypt and Morocco to play one another, and I want Algeria, so I was trying to see if I could get it to load Algeria, but so far I haven't had success with that. I guess I'll try one more time in the game. Nothing's really happened yet for you to be able to watch, but okay, so now it draws the competition. And if we check who got put into tournament 1, it's Egypt, Morocco again. It's drawing them every time. Can I go back to the editor and let's try something here. Get the best national teams from North Africa, but what I want it to first do is ignore teams. Okay, there's 5 teams in North Africa. I want you to grab 3 of them and ignore them, and also... That's it. So grab the 3 North African teams, ignore them. Actually, no. Let's do this differently. I want you to get a specific team. In this case, I want you to get Egypt. We'll duplicate this 2 more times. Then I'd like you to get Morocco. And I'd like you to get Tunisia. These are the strongest 3. I want you to ignore these 3 and then get the remaining 2, which is Libya, Algeria. So let's see if it will let me do that. I think the editor's not going to allow me. Okay, done. So I'll talk through that while the thing is loading. The function of ignore teams is to say, I want you to look at this team, but do not select them. So it's a really useful way of excluding certain teams, certain options from the pool of potential teams. And it's one of the reasons why I think that this is sequential. And if it's sequential, if it's essentially a priority list, and I think it is. That's why I think it will try to grab this team, and if it cannot, then it will grab Tuvalu. So that's what I'm hoping is happening here. But I might not have a valid test here. I might not have something that actually works as a test. And what I'll need to do instead, if not, is essentially set up 2 tournaments where we could end up with the same team qualifying. Kind of like the if you win, what do they call it now? The Europa League, and you win 5th place, 4th place in the Premier League, that you could end up going to the Champions League. I think that's how that works now. Like, there's 2 pathways. And so because there's 2 pathways, I need to know how it handles the prioritization. So we shall see. If that's how it works, then we have a remarkable amount of flexibility, and I'm very excited about that. Because we could essentially say, in this situation, do this, in that situation, do that, in this situation, do that, and essentially give it a big, long list for where a team's supposed to come from, and keep going until you have enough. So that's what I'm hoping is happening. Okay, now, if we get this going, get this started. I am going to save this as Libya, Algeria. That's the matchup that I want. And let's just check that it has not drawn anyone yet. Tournament 1, not drawn yet. It will draw on the 9th. So now it should be drawn. Tournament 1. It drew Libya, Algeria. That's what I wanted. Now we can go to May 5th and see if Algeria can win. I got to try to remember to save on around the 4th. Shoot. That's where I want to save. Right there. Right there. Okay. Let's save as, and we'll just do Libya, Algeria. I want Algeria to win. I didn't see it in the preview. Let's take a look. So in tournament 1, Algeria won. In tournament 0, it picked Tuvalu. We have so much control here then. That is remarkable. That is exciting. I'm elated. I'm ecstatic. I'm thrilled. I'm really, really, really thrilled. So let's show what we can do with this. Let's now I'll tell you what. I'll save this as a duplicate test, and we'll do another one next where we add a 3rd tournament.